Welcome to Creating Connections Podcast, episode 133. I am Mitch Taylor.
And I'm Vickie Musney.
And today we are in our Q&A topics, where we pull a conversation from social media, one of the brands, one of the platforms, and decide what to chat about for this week to kind of explore a little bit deeper than what was done on that social media platform. And today we're talking about how quick to reply to that email.
I think this will be kind of a fun one because you and I lean towards different ends of the spectrum on this. Would you knock it off? This is not the appropriate time. I know you are.
To an email.
I know you are. Not right now.
Hang on. I got to send her back an email.
No, put the phone down. She can wait 15 minutes.
Oh, wow. More after the break.
That was nice and easy.
What are you talking about? This also speaks to a much bigger issue.
Providing personal solutions through understanding people. This is the Creating Connections podcast with Gitomer Certified Advisor Mitch Taylor and Certified Personality Trainer Vickie Musney.
All right, welcome back to the podcast, episode 133. I'm Mitch.
And I'm Vickie.
And I just replied to that email.
Even though I told him not to.
True story, I did actually.
I know.
So our good friend Dave Tournier, he had a Facebook Live video recently about how quick you reply to an email.
And this topic has come up in Sales for Event Pros and other places. We've seen it a lot, especially in the last month or two.
Yes.
So yeah, I think it's time that we talk about it.
So I differ, and I think you do as well, Vickie. Correct me if I'm wrong. I'm sure you will. And
I am good at that.
we differ in regards to that concept. You know, Dave believes he will wait. He'll give it a day sometimes to reply. And I don't know. I mean, it could be a product of where he is and how he sets up his service, as he is the high-end provider in his marketplace. And there's nothing wrong with that. I am the high-end provider here in Escanaba, in my marketplace. But I also want to do whatever I can to stand out from any other company around. And if that means I'm replying within 5 minutes, then I'm replying within 5 minutes. If I'm available. If I'm not in a meeting, I'm not with my wife and kids, I'm not working an event. If it's just regular routine during the day, that email.
Or recording a podcast.
Oh no, I'll try beside the podcast to reply. I mean, you know.
I know, that's what I'm saying. Part of your regular routine. Anybody else can wait.
But, and I also learned something very important from a sales mentor, one of the guys that gave me my very first job, Dan Priestley, rest in peace. And that was never interrupt someone when they're making money. And because we called on, business owners all the time as the radio sales guys, coming in and knocking on the door and, barging into a place of barging in, but you know what I mean? Walking into a place of business.
Just showing up. You're doing
just showing
cold
up.
Calling and yep.
Yeah, cold calling and say, hey, have you thought about different ways to get your name out and get your promotion out, whatever the case may be? So I kind of dovetailed off that, sorry. But the point is that you want to reply right away, in my opinion, to differentiate yourself from any other company out there. And statistics show that you reply first, you have a greater chance of booking.
And I guess I'm not advocating stalling on purpose, creating a false sense of busyness. I think my perspective on this is, and you hit on this with some of your exceptions that you mentioned, but my thing is making sure that you are in the right place to give a proper response. And this part of this perspective could be because typically during the day you are working in an office, a more controlled environment, whereas I work from home and I'm juggling a lot of different things. There are days when I am interrupting my work day to go pick up a child from school and take them to a dentist appointment or an orthodontist or a doctor or whatever. And I work at weird hours and I have to kind of compartmentalize. And if I am out driving around or, not, or with my children, like you said, or honestly, if I'm having a bad day, and I think that's one that people don't like to talk about. There are times when you are not in a good mental, emotional space to give a good response.
Absolutely agreed.
And the best thing you can do then is to wait. Let it pass by. If you've just gotten some bad news or had a fight with your spouse or some, a client conversation that went bad, or you just read a bad review on that someone posted and you're not in a good place, stop. Do yourself a favor. It's not going to serve that client for you to send a harsh reply or something that's just not well thought out.
Yeah.
They can wait, even if it's a half an hour. Wait till you've had a chance to have lunch, had a glass of water, calm down, and if it happens in the evening and you're home and you just had a fight with your spouse or your kids, wait till morning.
Yeah.
I don't think that's that terrible.
No, it's not.
I really don't.
It's not at all. It's, if you're having a bad day or you, like you said, do yourself a favor, don't reply.
And there was some eye-opening times, and you and I had that trip to New England recently, and we were driving from training to training and event to event, and I was watching you because you were dealing with a bridesmaid that decided, or not bridesmaid, but a woman that was supposed to give a toast that decided she didn't want to do it, and she was nervous, and can I make a video? And I remember seeing you get so frustrated because she was so last minute about the things, and you're like, I'm already on the road, we're in the middle of training, we've got workshop and seminar and private training, and I don't have time to be dealing with her not giving me this video. And I remember just saying, calm down, do not reply to her right now.
Right.
Let's get through this next seminar and then grab lunch. And then maybe you'll be in a better space where you can send her a reply that doesn't sound like you're angry.
Right.
Because yes, it's frustrating when people change their mind at the last minute and they don't understand why you need to see the video ahead of time, why you need to know what format it's in, and if the audio is decent and all of that stuff. They don't get it. But it doesn't do any good to respond when you're angry.
No, it doesn't.
And I think the same thing is true with inquiries. If you're distracted or you don't have the right information on hand, and then it also conflicts with everything we teach about that first step, about the importance of searching out details about that client, giving the most personalized reply that you can for that individual. And you can't do adequate research if you're responding in 30 seconds while you're sitting at a stoplight. That's not a good idea on many levels.
Right. No, it's not. So I guess we differ from Dave in that standpoint. We'll put a link to Dave's video as well in the notes for this podcast. You have a link to it if you want to go check that out as well.
Yeah. I lean towards Dave in the weight, and it's okay. And the other thing we didn't talk about, Mitch, that I think is huge, and I know you and I have had this conversation before. Do you train people? When you respond instantly, you train them to expect that. And I know that we can't change an entire generation of thinking, but maybe we can train our clients. And if you want to train them, that they can get a hold of you 24/7 and you're going to reply and that works for you and you can do that within 5 minutes or whatever, great. But I lean towards Dave on this. I don't want to give them that much control of my life.
Well,
I will be as accessible as reasonable.
I'll play the converse. If I'm paying you $4,000 or $5,000, you better be at my beck and call. Next.
Yeah.
Sorry. And I love Dave. Don't get me wrong. I love Dave. But if
they're
you're
not
charging
hiring
that
me to
kind of
be a
money,
personal
I expect
assistant.
you to be, that's the other thing. I've had this with other wedding pros who are charging top dollar. And to me, if you're charging top dollar, then you can afford to have a virtual assistant get back to that person.
No, but I'm saying if someone hires me to perform at their event,
yes,
my job is to create that event.
yes.
My job is not to be their personal assistant. I do not have to answer within 30 seconds.
I never said you're the personal assistant.
Yeah. They may have an issue and I will handle it, but I will handle it when I can handle it. And I don't feel that I have to, that has nothing to do with the price I charge for the performance that I'm giving them.
I understand. But to me, if I am paying you a premium fee, I expect premium service.
Okay. I'm going to just disagree. I do not have to do that for my clients.
Okay.
I will still provide a premium service, but that does not include interrupting my dinner to go take
I never
call.
said interrupting dinner. Okay. Let's clarify. We're getting off topic here. I always said.
And I sleep with my phone turned off.
Those kind of things.
I turn my phone off when I go to bed. I will not set people up. If they want to message me at 2:00 in the morning, because that works for them, that's fine.
Well,
I'll respond as soon as I drop my kids off at school the next day.
Here's another great example. We had a wedding on June 10th this past year. Bride and groom, good couple. I was not their MC, but obviously I'm the owner of the company that provided their MC. And they texted me at 5:00 in the morning. Mm-hmm. I didn't see it until 6:30 in the morning when I got up. But I got up at 6:30 in the morning. I saw the text. I saw their text needing a photographer. Their photographer bailed on them right away. Mm-hmm. Within 15 minutes, I had a photographer for them. Yeah. So to me, it's about going the extra mile. And I will always do that for my couples. And I think
we're getting a little bit off
family time. No, but
because you got a text, which honestly to me is a super different thing than an email. And you're also talking about a client that you've been planning with for a long time, and it was game day.
Yes.
And to me, that is a very different situation than an inquiry that you have no relationship with.
But it's still responding in service right away.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And it still shows the fact that they paid a good amount of money to have tailored weddings, and we still provided exemplary service.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. I don't disagree with that. And in that situation, I would have seen that text as soon as I woke up, and I would have handled it. You don't stall when there's a need, especially something like that on game day. Yeah. But again, I don't make my my cell phone. I don't make it obvious that people can text me at any time of the day or night on my.
I get that.
On my initial marketing, so that
I don't either.
That I haven't met are not going to put me in that situation typically.
Yeah. I don't either. Clients don't get that until they become a client, frankly. But
yeah. And I think those are two different things. So it's a good mindset to consider. Yes, we want to provide great service. I'm not against good service. Don't take that away from this episode. But I also think you need to be realistic for what makes sense for you. Are you in a good headspace? Yes. Are you in a good physical space? Can you take notes somehow on your phone, or write something down if there are important details to remember? So maybe when you're driving around, that may not be the best time to take that.
Yeah, I absolutely agree with that.
So find what works. It's okay for you to see that Mitch and I aren't exactly on the same page. He leans a little bit more towards make it happen instantly, and I lean a little bit more towards they can wait till I'm ready.
But I
And I'm
absolutely
okay with
agree.
that.
You need to be in the right headspace and physical space.
Mhm.
I absolutely agree.
Yep.
That we
Yeah.
agree on.
Yeah,
So
don't do it when you're distracted.
that's
or
the hot
angry.
topic for today.
Yeah, have fun with that one.
Q&A and how quick do you reply? That's it for Creating Connections podcast, episode 133. I'm Mitch Taylor.
And I'm Vickie Musney.
We provide personal solutions through understanding people better, even if we don't understand each other sometimes. Thanks for watching.
Thanks for listening. Have a great week.
Thank you for listening to the Creating Connections podcast with Gittimer Certified Advisor Mitch Taylor and Certified Personality Trainer Vickie Musney. For more information on providing personal solutions through understanding people better, visit creatingconnections.biz.